Common is the lowest rarity in the game and acts as the core foundation of Steal a Brainrot. These Brainrots are meant to show up constantly on the conveyor belt, so players are never blocked from interacting with the game's main mechanics. From the moment you join a server, common Brainrots are already there, making the game feel instantly playable and accessible. The money generated by common Brainrots is extremely low and intentionally inefficient. Their role isn't fast progression, but introducing passive income in the most basic way possible. They help players understand how income builds over time, how placement determines ownership, and how stealing works without pressure or punishment. Common Brainrots are cheap, disposable, and easy to replace, which removes emotional attachment and fear of loss. Losing one doesn't slow progress in any meaningful way, and most players barely react when one gets stolen. That lack of consequence is completely intentional. Common Brainrots exist to teach the fundamentals before higher rarities, introduce competition, scarcity, and real risk. They're temporary learning tools that quickly lose relevance once players understand the basics. Rare Brainrots mark the first real step past the beginner phase and signal that progression has officially started. They spawn less often than commons, introducing scarcity for the first time, but still appear frequently enough that players don't need to actively hunt for them. Rare Brainrots generate more money per second than commons, which noticeably improves early game pacing and reduces downtime. Progress feels smoother and more rewarding, even though this boost doesn't stay strong forever. As prices increase, rare Brainrots slowly fall off and become inefficient compared to higher tiers. They cost more than commons but are still affordable enough that buying one doesn't feel stressful. Losing a rare Brainrot can be annoying, but it usually doesn't force a strategy change. This rarity teaches players that some Brainrots matter more than others, preparing them for tiers where mistakes hit much harder. Epic Brainrots are where the game starts demanding patience, awareness, and smart decision-making. They appear far less frequently on the conveyor belt, meaning players often need to wait, watch, and time their actions carefully. When an epic Brainrot spawns, it grabs attention because it's a clear power upgrade. Epic Brainrots provide a strong boost to passive income, letting players rely more on steady earnings instead of constant manual interaction. This changes how the game is played, shifting players toward long-term planning instead of quick reactions. The higher cost forces players to think carefully about whether to spend or save. Epic Brainrots are usually the first ones players actively try to defend. Losing one noticeably slows progression, making positioning, timing, and awareness of other players much more important. Legendary Brainrots are a major milestone and often define whether a player feels successful. They're rare enough that players may wait a long time to see one, and many save money just in case a legendary appears. Legendary Brainrots generate massive passive income, often matching or exceeding multiple epic Brainrots combined. This creates a huge jump in progression speed. Owning a legendary changes the pace of the game. Money flows faster but pressure increases. Legendary Brainrots become prime targets and other players closely watch for steal opportunities. Losing a legendary can wipe out hours of progress in seconds. After that point, players become more defensive, alert, and cautious. For many, this is when the game stops feeling casual and starts feeling competitive. Mythic Brainrots are firmly late-game content and represent dedication, experience, and patience. They're extremely rare and often require long grinding sessions, perfect timing, and the right conditions. Many players spend a large portion of their playtime chasing their first Mythic. These Brainrots generate massive income per second, allowing players to scale quickly and unlock high-tier options more easily. That power comes with serious risk. Mythic Brainrots are extremely expensive, making each purchase a major commitment rather than a simple upgrade. Losing a Mythic can severely damage progression and may force a full strategy reset. Because of this, Mythics demand strong base setups, constant awareness, and defensive gameplay. Players who own Mythics are usually experienced and respected in the server. Brainrot Gods exist beyond normal progression and represent top-tier dominance. They are incredibly rare and are seen more as symbols of power than just income generators. They produce massive passive income, making lower-tier Brainrots feel almost irrelevant. At this stage, earning money isn't the challenge anymore. Gameplay shifts toward protecting assets, managing attention, and staying in control. Brainrot God owners attract constant pressure, including repeated steal attempts and coordinated targeting. Mistakes at this level are extremely punishing and often impossible to recover from, making defense the main focus of gameplay. Secret brainrots exist outside the normal progression path and are intentionally difficult to obtain. They rely on ultra-low spawn chances, special mechanics, or very specific conditions. Many players will never see one appear, reinforcing just how rare they are. When obtained, secret brainrots generate insane income, often outperforming even Brainrot Gods. Their impact goes beyond money. Owning a secret brainrot instantly draws attention and can change how an entire server plays, increasing steal attempts and constant surveillance. For most players, secret brainrots remain long-term goals or legendary stories, rather than something they realistically expect to own. OG is the rarest and most prestigious rarity in the game, existing mainly as a symbol of legacy rather than progression. OG brainrots are tied to early versions, limited time availability, or spawn rates so low that encountering one is extremely unlikely. Only a very small number of players own OG brainrots, and their value comes mostly from status rather than income alone. Even though OG brainrots generate very high income, owners usually don't play aggressively with them. Instead, they're carefully protected, hidden, or displayed as proof of early involvement or insane luck. Owning an OG brainrot puts a player in a category most will never reach, representing long-term dedication rather than normal progression.